Right, now I want to talk about report projects because we've covered generating a report instantly. Essentially, this is if you already have the data ready to hand that you want to upload to generate a report, or if you just want to reference a knowledge base that already has the data in there, then you can use that to then process that data into the output that you need instantly. But we understand at ReportsAI that reporting doesn't necessarily start at report generation. It usually starts way before that when you're actually collecting the data and organizing how you're going to conduct the report. So as an example, if you're conducting a Q1 report, then that's something that you're going to work on over January, February, and March. And then you're probably going to be then generating that report across April with perhaps like an end of April deadline to then actually submit that Q1 report. So for that kind of workflow, we created report projects, which allow you to organize your tasks, request data, and conduct data checks. So let's get into that. So we go from here reporting, we just go to my report projects. What's great about this as well is that as an organization, once you've got all of your users centralized here within the platform, everybody can see all the different report projects that you're working on here. They can see the due dates, they can see the owner of the reports, and then they can click into any of them to then see the progress, how many days are left, tasks, notes that have been appended, anything like that. So you can see how it's very powerful for just staying on top of all of your reporting, because I feel like that's such a big challenge in the space, is like missed deadlines and trouble organizing teams, because things tend to be kind of distributed and a lot of stuff's done over email. Whereas if you can bring everyone into one platform, then things become a lot easier and you can stay on top of all of your reporting. So yeah, let me just show you how to create your own project, how to create tasks, and then how to basically complete tasks by adding notes to them. So we'll get into like what notes are, and notes are essentially the data that you upload to a task to then mark the task as complete. So we'll get into that later on, but I'm going to show you first of all just how you create your own report project. So you just come up to here, create a report project. So you give it a name. So we're just going to call this Safe Burst Program. I'm going to make this one a Q1 report. It is for Q1. And because it's a Q1, or actually, let's, rather than calling it Q1, let's call this quarterly. Because you can actually make things periodic. So if you're dealing with a report that you do monthly, quarterly, or annually, you can actually make them periodic. So you don't have to create a new report project every time. It will just get created for you because it's a periodic report, which then obviously makes your life easier. So you can choose monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, or annually. So we make this quarterly report. Due date for this one, we're going to say is the end of April for a Q1 report. Last month it'll be reported on would be March, because it's a January, February, March for Q1 2026. So yeah, let's create that. So now within this part, you can actually choose to upload anything that's relevant to this particular project. So work plans, mail plans, log frames, terms of reference, all these kind of things you can upload here just to give the platform more context on what this report project is about. You don't have to upload anything here. You can just go straight to next, because you don't necessarily have to put any information here. It will still work fine. But if you want to give the platform more kind of context, so let's say I can upload a log frame from the Safe Burst programs. I'm pretty sure I have one, Safe Burst program log frame. Here you go. Then we just upload that as a file. You can put a note if you want, no, you don't have to. And then let's just go next. When you're talking about visibility, this is generally visibility within your organization, so within your users within the platform. So don't be too concerned about putting public, because it's just public to your users within the platform. Now create that. Boom. Great. So now we have this Safe Burst Program quarterly report. So you've got 60 days left, we've got 0 tasks, 0 notes. So first thing I'm going to do is create tasks. So what's great about this is that you can actually create tasks from a document. So you can upload something like a work plan or a list of tasks in a Word doc, and it will extract the tasks for you just to save you time. But I'm going to show you how to create them manually as well, so it's not difficult. So I'm going to put upload monthly report for January, because this is a Q1 field activity report, right? So I think you're going to need someone to upload the January activity report, the February activity report, and the March activity report. So you might want to make tasks for each of those. So that to do. Impact story. So basically with this description, it allows you can be as detailed as you want. And you'll see later why it's important to kind of specify the things that you want to ensure are in the data that gets uploaded, because there's actually an AI check that happens later. When someone uploads the data automatically gets checked against the task description to check whether the data is both complete and relevant enough to actually complete the task. So basically, when anyone's uploading data, they get instant AI feedback on how well they've completed the task. And that's how we try and ensure that the quality of your data inputs are strong enough to actually generate a report. So whoever's creating the tasks, it's important that you specify what you need to be in there. And then it stops that kind of back and forth that normally happens over email when someone gets sent the data, they have to read through it themselves, they see that key things are missing, and then they have to chase up the person to send that information, whereas this will do the AI checks for you. So we do a start date today, make it due the last Friday of the month, let's say. You can do things like put tags. You can assign it to someone internal, so I can assign it to myself. You can also assign it to someone external, and I think this is really interesting because you can add an external person, say like I could add Mohammed, and I can put his email address. And what will happen is that he'll get an email that will show that a task has been allocated to him in ReportsAI. He'll see the task details. And if he clicks the link, it will actually take him to ReportsAI to then upload his data. And he'll actually be able to get the AI feedback on the quality of the data without having to have a paying ReportsAI subscription himself. So if you're working with a partner organization, you can allocate those partners tasks, even if they're not a member within your platform and they don't have their own paying subscription to ReportsAI, they'll still get the AI feedback. So it's a lot better than requesting that information over email, because you get that instant AI check on the quality of the data against the task specification. So they'll just, they'll see that as an email in their inbox. When they click the link, it will take them into ReportsAI, and then they can upload the relevant data as a note, which I'll show you how I do that when I complete this task, because this one's going to be assigned to me. So let me just create that. Okay, that's created. So I now see that there's a task. If I go to overview, we can, and just refresh. We can now see that there's one task. So there hasn't been any progress on this particular one yet because there's one task to be done. I'm going to quickly make some other tasks. Okay, so I've created these other tasks now. So you've got upload the monthly field activity reports for January, February, and March. So these are the 3 tasks that need to be done before this Q1 activity report can be created. So I can show you basically how you would go about completing a task now. So this again is assigned to me, this task. So I can see that, I can click into it, I can see what's required of me. Then you can be a lot more detailed in here, be as detailed as you want. It's best to kind of give people clear instructions via this so they can see exactly what they need to do, but also so that AI checks know what to check the uploaded data against. So when it comes to completing a task, you want to add notes to show that you've completed the task. So if it was something simple like going for a coffee with someone, you need to go to a coffee with a potential client, you could write here like I went for the coffee meeting with client X, etc., 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 and then just add that as a note just to kind of show that you completed the task. But what you'll notice if you do something like that, when you do the try and complete the task, it will probably suggest to you, okay, I see that you went for the coffee, but can you give some more information about the topics that you spoke about? What were the outcomes of that meeting, etc.? So what's really great about this tool is that it knows to nudge the person to include the relevant information before completing the task. So you can write stuff here, but a lot of the time it's more likely that people would be uploading the data. So for example, if I'm uploading January field notes, here are my January field notes. And again, they can be any file types here. You can upload voice notes if you want, Excel files. So I've got Excel file beneficiaries reached and the rough January field notes that I'm going to stick in now. So okay, now you see those field notes in the Excel file are now in there as a note. So I can just select add that note. And now all of that data is now connected to that task, which also means it's connected to the report project as a whole. So this is how you gradually build up data across the life cycle of a report project. You're gradually adding notes over the lifetime of the project. And then when you get to the end of the project, you can then generate the report from all of that data that's attached. So if I jump back to task details, I've already added those notes. So I'm happy with it, I can come and evaluate the task at any time, which will basically do an evaluation of the data that you've uploaded against the task specifications. But you'll notice that if I mark as complete, that evaluation will actually happen automatically. So you see right now here we're evaluating the task progress. So what the AI model is doing is looking at the data that's being uploaded as notes and assessing it against the task description. So you get a summary here, progress assessment, suggested next steps. And if you want to override that, you can mark it as complete. So when you get to the end of adding all of the information to a report project, if you completed all these tasks, you can then evaluate the progress of the project as a whole. So this is like the overview page of that report project. Right, here's the task, here's the notes. You can actually evaluate the report project as a whole, but that will also happen if I generate report, which means it's going to take all of the notes that have been uploaded to all of the different tasks. So that's all the context that's going to be used. That's all of your data that you've added to this project over time. It's going to use all of that to then generate the report. So I can click generate report. So you can choose to use your personal notes or use the team, which most of the time I assume you'd be using everyone's notes. You can give additional instructions. And here, just like with generating a report instantly, you can choose a report type. So, I mean, this would be a quarterly report, but I'm just going to go monthly field activity report because I only uploaded the data for January so far. So I'm just going to select the monthly field activity report. And yeah, then I'm going to generate. So this is basically operating really the same as generating a report instantly, but with generating a report instantly, we had the data there ready to go. So we just uploaded the data, or we selected the knowledge base that contains the data, and then we just selected the report type or the prompt, like, okay, this is what I want this data processed into, and then we just generate instantly. But now what I've showed you today is actually if you're working on a report project over time, you create a report project, you create tasks, and then within that, people can then upload notes to the report project over the life cycle of the project until you then generate using all of that data that's been uploaded. And obviously we also saw the checks that get done on the data inputs each time they're uploaded. So this is what the process that most organizations would actually be using in practice, because obviously you want to check the quality of your data inputs, and it's something that you're going to work on over a period of time. It's not usually something you're just going to be doing instantly. So this is more the kind of strategic way that organizations would use this platform. I would also note that you don't have to create a task to be able to upload notes. If you just go to this notes tab, you can just dump in notes and attach them to the project whenever you want. So if you were doing a monthly activity report and you were collecting like daily field activities, you could just dump those field activities in and just connect them as notes to the project over time without creating any tasks. And then you can generate the report from all of that data that's been attached to the project over time. So you see now we've generated this output basically from that report project. It's going to follow the report type that we selected, but it's using all of the data that we uploaded to that project over time. And like always, you can convert this to audio summaries, presentation decks, social media posts, text summaries. You can edit, leave comments, work on it as a team, export it to Word, all of those things like before. And it's again going to get saved into my drafts here, where you can come back to it, chat with AI, ask AI for feedback on how you could improve, share it with people, request validation. All of this stuff is available to you, same as before. So basically, just to summarize, generating a report instantly. If you already have the data, you just upload or choose the knowledge base and then select how you want to have it processed, whether you want to use one of these prompts, make your own prompt, or whether you want to use a report type or a template, and you can do all of that instantly here. But if you want to work on a project over time and have a more structured task management element to it, then create a report project. You can attach notes to the project over the life of the project. Everyone can see the deadlines, and you can assign people tasks. You can also assign tasks to people external from your organization. They'll receive an email. They can then upload data. They'll get that as notes. So you upload data as notes. If they then complete the task, The instant AI check happens to check for both completeness and relevance of the data uploaded. So you've got all of the checks on your data that's been uploaded to the project over time. Once you're happy with all the data that's been uploaded, you can then generate the report, and it's going to take all of the notes that were uploaded to that project over its lifetime as the data source to then produce your report output. And again, you choose what type of output you want by either report type or template. And yes, that is report projects.